Start us off again, please.
Yeah, hey, Matt. What changed before the 21-4 run there that kind of broke the game open?
Well, obviously, being able to get some stops, not allowing second chance opportunities, got in transition a little bit, got some good action inside. Obviously, Sasha did a good job freeing himself and knocking down some shots. I thought Aaron Wheeler was good in that stretch, hitting that three, getting a couple layups, one on a putback, and I think the other one was on an out-of-bounds play. But just, obviously when you have a run, you got to be good on both ends. And just trying to stack together stops to go along with making good decisions on the offensive end.
What's been kind of your message to Stefanovic here the last couple of weeks while he's obviously seemed to be getting a little frustrated with how things were going for him?
Yeah, it's going to take some, it takes a little bit of time, and he's a good player and he's a good shooter and people are going to stay with him too. So that's, makes it a little bit harder, but I thought we've, done a good job with him in terms of just kind of his minute distribution and, where he's at with, I think he had 14 minutes and 20 and then 24. And then tonight he had almost 24, 23 and a half. So I think that's, you have to rely like your whole team. And that's just like I got a lot of respect for the teams that have been on those pauses for, 2.5 weeks. Their whole team's that way coming back. And so it's hard. I think that's the one thing that takes a little bit of time is when you're a perimeter shooter to be able to knock down shots. You want to get more shots to get into the flow. And tonight he got the most shots, and obviously he made the most shots. And that was good. I think everybody looks at that as the only thing. It's not the only thing. He does a good job passing the basketball. He knows what's going on. But, just happy for him. It's a frustrating thing, something you don't, ever think that you're going to have to go through. And obviously he had to go through it and probably is still going through a little bit of it. But I'm just happy for him to play well and knock down some shots.
What did you like about the way your team responded to the way they closed the first half and then obviously them taking the lead early in the second half?
Yeah, we didn't have a good stretch there. In the first half, then we didn't have a good stretch to start the second half. Had a couple loose balls in the second half that Nebraska was able to get, and they just were getting in the paint too much. They were getting the ball deep. They were doing a good job, with ball screen stuff, and then attacking us off our closeouts. Just trying to work us downhill to get there. And I thought as the game progressed, we did a better job with that. But early in the first half, our execution wasn't great. And our inability to keep the ball out of the paint just, kept putting us into binds. And as the game progressed and we had more success, we did a better job in those areas.
A lot of Jaden's impact in this game came on defense. Can you just kind of speak to where he is right now as a defensive player?
Obviously still learning. You go to different scouting reports and different players and different tendencies. And so just he able to, use his athleticism and his length, really. You don't realize how long he is at times. But, I thought he did a good job of just, kind of having some active hands and got a couple steals. And the more times he can get into space or the more times he can get into transition or get ahead of steam, it's a positive for us when he's attacking the basket.
So I guess how come it was so difficult to get Travion involved, and what does it say about your team that they can win this way without him having the kind of night you guys are kind of getting used to him having?
Right. Well, I think, gotta give the other team credit too. Like, they're trying to take him away and, we're trying to get him the basketball. So, but once again, like, you look at, at our group and you look at, Zach and, him, they still, even though they don't have maybe great nights individually, even though they both had their moments tonight, they still have a presence. And I always talk about that with Sasha as a shooter. He might not make in a particular game a lot of shots, but he still is helping our spacing. And those guys obviously take a lot of the help they take, whether it's ball side or weak side. They got a lot of people pulling. And anytime you got people pulling like that, if you move the basketball, you're going to put people into closeouts. You're going to put people into rotations, and then you get behind plays. So, we just got to take what the defense gives us. And, obviously Travion's been on a great run here, and they're not just going to obviously let him do, whatever he wants.
Travion playing 21 minutes without foul trouble. Was that just you sticking with Zach at times?
Yeah, I thought Zach gave us good minutes and he played well. I thought he did some good things, and he was really drawing a lot of people when he was in there. So we just gotta we just gotta take what they give us. And sometimes when we try to do too much, when they're double and triple teaming you, you're going to get into trouble. Just make the simple pass and keep the ball moving, and that's what we really try to emphasize with both of our bigs.
All right. And just last thing for me, can you just kind of say something about the impact Aaron made there in the second half too?
Oh, it was great. Obviously he stuck that three. He had a dive where he got a layup. He got another dive off an out-of-bounds play. Had active hands, rebounded the basketball. He gave us some great minutes off the bench. I was happy to see Aaron, play well. It's hard. It's hard. I always talk about that when your minutes are inconsistent. It's hard to be consistent, and it just is. And I thought tonight he did some really good things for us on both ends.
I'm good. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Carmen.
Yeah, Matt, you've been waiting for the three-pointers to go down for your team, not just from Sasha, but to see it spread around a little bit. Is that a product of some pretty good ball movement, or just something else?
Yeah, well, they're double teaming a lot, and so getting into rotations, we wanted to be ready to shoot, but also drive the basketball for help and penetrating pitch, and we had a lot of good looks that didn't go down. We still only shoot 31% from three, and that goes goes on the back end of Sasha making his shots at the end. So we were really struggling before that, but we've struggled, mightily before. We've had the 3 for 24s, the making 2 threes in a game or 3 threes in a game. So it felt like closer to 20. But I have a lot of confidence that are shooting. We've got a lot of good shooters, on this team. And I think the more we keep working, the more we keep working on our execution, we'll make more threes. We'll continue to, take good ones. We just got to work, on our execution, our decision making. I thought at times it was really good, and we didn't reward ourselves by knocking them down. We got to read the situation.
Hey guys, if you're not asking a question, can you mute? Because we got someone feedback going on. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay. Thank you. You said the other day that kind of you were surprised that you were winning these close games without hitting the 3 ball. Is this the missing piece that allowed you not to be in these close games?
We've had close games that we've won, not shooting well. We've obviously had close games that we've lost, not shooting well. But just to be able to be competing against quality people and not shoot the ball well is, it's kind of a backhanded compliment too, because it means we're doing a lot of other good things. And it's why they also talk about, your jumper doesn't always travel, but your effort, your attitude, your defense, those things do. Those things are you can't game plan to say, hey, we're going to shoot 50% from 30. That's just not the way it works. You have to game plan and really adjust. Why? Because if you're not making shots, obviously you got to figure out a way how to get more layups, because those things are important no matter if you're making them or missing.
I mean, how do you got another week before you play a game, and look at Nebraska's schedule. They're playing every other day, and you got a full week off. I mean, how do you handle this next week with your team?
We'll take a couple of days off, and then we'll practice 3 days before that, play on Friday. Just trying to clean up some things from this game, just trying to clean up that period, and keep getting better. Keep working on the fundamentals of the game. Like, don't look at from such a narrow view of what happened tonight, even though we're going to correct what we struggled with. You got to look at just being fundamentally sound and the right way, and having discipline on defense, and that comes from reps and breakdown drills. So that's obviously what we'll do, like we do any other.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else for Matt? Go ahead,
Matt. Just the job you did on Teddy Allen. What all went into that? He only, he got 6 points, but he was averaging 17. Just what were the keys to kind of slowing him down and just slowing some of their better guys down in general? Yeah,
not fouling when he takes bad shots. That's that was really what we talked about. Like, you know, when he gets into a groove and he's attacking and he's getting layups and drawing fouls and taking open shots, you know, he's dangerous. But when he's, you know, going to take bad shots, tough shots, you know, it's just going to, you know, he's going to play right into our hand. And then I just said, hey, this guy's really talented. He's a good offensive player, but, you know, when he goes and takes difficult ones, let's make sure that, you know, we don't foul. And I thought our guys, when he was in there, you know, did a good job. You know, their bench played so well in the first half. That's why he started those guys outside of maybe one guy. You know, in the second half, they played well. They played. They're the team that kept him in the game. Is the guys on the bench, and then those guys started and did a pretty good job of being in the second half. But then they started to struggle, so he put those guys back in. There's a reason they're starting. Obviously, they're better players on a consistent basis, or he wouldn't start them. But then they came back in, and those guys didn't play well. But you know, McGowan's got his head up and knocked a couple threes down to start the game, and you know, never really got back into where he got a lot of attempts with that. But you know, we just wanted to make it hard on those guys, and when they took tough shots and tried to keep them out of the paint. But obviously, we had a tough time with that. They were in the paint a lot tonight. We got to do a better job of keeping the ball in front of us.